Check one. All right, welcome. Great to have you here today. We have a very special guest speaker today, and I'm not going to introduce him because I'm going to introduce to you Jessica Edebo, a child of our congregation, the daughter of our congregation, and she and I, as we do occasionally, touch bases and for coffee and check in, and she shared with me some things on her heart, and the gentleman that's going to speak to us today. And so we talked about, well, it'd be great for him to come and talk to the congregation and hear his story. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce Jessica, who's going to introduce our speaker. So welcome, Jessica.
This past year I was finishing up my degree in international affairs in Spokane, and I didn't really know what I was going to do yet with the degree, so I was kind of trying out different paths, and one of those was refugee resettlement. So in Spokane, there's an organization called World Relief, and it's not Lutheran World Relief, but it's really similar. It's a Christian organization, and they work with, they focus on resettlement of refugees all around the world and around the U.S. And so I went in and I asked if they needed help in the office, and so I went in and they taught me all about how the process works and what exactly takes place within the organization and everything that refugees go through that process. And it was really interesting to me, and I kind of opened my eyes to a lot of what the media is talking about and everything. But then I went home, and he became kind of my mentor there, and he taught me more about the process. But more than that, he showed me, he told me about his story too, and that was almost more eye-opening, just because he has such an interesting background. He has come from living in Africa to becoming a refugee in a refugee camp in Africa, and then he came and went through the whole process of becoming a refugee and moving to the U.S. and all that entails. So I just kind of wanted to share this with the community here and show you just another perspective on this hot topic that's in the news now, just so that we can kind of see like one piece of reality of what's actually happened, not just what media portrays or anything like that. So with that, I'm going to introduce you to my friend Come.
I'm so excited to be here. You guys look amazing. Tell the person next to you, you are amazing.
You're amazing.
Yeah, it's so amazing. I remember when I became Christian, I attended the church for the first time, and the pastor said, "Pray for your neighbor." And I was like, "My neighbor is not a Christian, so he's not here." So I was about to tell you your neighbor that you were amazing. So I'm so excited to be here this morning. It is a great honor to stand in front of you all and share my story. I want to give a big honor to Pastor Bill for giving me this opportunity. He's a great man of God, and I just honor his leadership, and you guys are really amazing. And at the same time, I want to take also the opportunity to honor the family that adopted me here, the Enebus family. They're really awesome. They gave me a world-class hospitality, and I had a great time with them. Actually, I was here last summer, and I came to this church also, so it was really awesome. It was really great. So I'm so excited to be here today, like you heard. I'm from Africa, in a small country called Burundi. So I'm going to take you on a journey. So fasten your seatbelts and we're going to take a flight and go to Africa. It's going to be awesome. So I'm going to start with a short story on a scripture that we all know. In Genesis, the Bible says God created everybody with beauty, and He created everything. He said it's beautiful, it's good, and you and I, we are created in the image of God, which is really amazing. And I'm going to use, just this flower as an illustration, just to explain the beauty that we have after being created by God. So each and every one, like I said, is created with beauty and amazing. But it's funny how sometimes, in our lives, our beauty is broken by the enemy or some other things. They come and they try to break our beauty, and they just, crash you down. And it's painful when this is happening to you, and when this is happening, you lose your hope. And the purpose of the enemy is just, to destroy you, and sometimes, the enemy just, throw you treasure in hand. But then, and when you are down here, there's no joy. It's painful. You cry, and you ask God, what happened? For you to be over there, you ask why you deserve to be in this treasure. Sometimes you ask questions, God, why? Why am I here? And so, at some point in my life, I have been broken, like this was. I'm from Burundi, a small country. It is around Congo, Rwanda, and Tanzania. My country is known by a civil war that has been going on for years and years. We have two main ethnic groups, Hutu and Tutsi. And those ethnic groups, they have been fighting for power for many years and many years. So many people have died, and some other people have fled the country. They became refugees in some other countries. So many kids, they have became, orphans, and women, they have became widows, and it's crazy. It's really tough. In 2005, the United Nations, they deployed a peacekeeping mission to come and help us find peace. And during that time, there was a group of rebels who were fighting against the government. That group was coming from a tribe called Hutu, and they were against the government, and they were doing bad things, killing people, raping women, and it was a chaos. And the UN decided to deploy a UN peacekeeping mission to come and help us to find peace. And my country, we uses French as an official language. And those UN peacekeepers, they came from English-speaking countries, so they need somebody to help them communicate with the local community. And so I speak 5 languages. I'm very smart. So I applied, to be a translator. But I remember the way I learned, English. It was very tough because in my country you don't meet anybody who speaks English. And I remember the first time I was trying to learn some words, and I learned the vowels, how to pronounce them. But I remember the first time I read that sign on the door as excite. It was really great. And then I was hired to work in the UN. Working in the UN was a big deal for me because I was well paid. I was driving a nice car. Working in the UN back home is a big deal. It's huge. And my salary was, enough to help myself and my family. It was really cool. When I was working in the UN, I was staying in the UN base, so I was staying with them. And I felt like, working in the UN, I was just living in a small country in my country because those guys were coming from some other countries. It was nice. So my job was to go outside with them and talk with the local community, ask them how those rebels are doing, bad things to them, and help them to protect, the local community. And so I worked in the UN for 9 months, and after that, I decided to go back home just for vacation and visit my family because during that time I missed them so much. And then I went back home for vacation, and one day, I'm a runner, I run so fast, and I was coming from a running workout, and it was in the evening, it was dark outside. As I was reaching the gate of my family's house, I saw some people were just, hanging in front of our house, and I thought, they're just, people from the neighborhood who are just, hanging out. As I reached them, they jumped on me, and I was like, what's going on? And they told me, you are our enemy, you have been doing some bad things against us. And I was like, what did I do? And they told me, you are working with the UN, you are helping them to destroy us, and today we are going to kill you. Those guys, they were coming from that group of rebels who were fighting against the government. I was taken from there, and they took me to the jungle where they had a small base where they were staying. And in that place, I went through torture. I was tortured, I was beaten every time. I remember every morning being beaten without clothes on my body, and they could just, pour water on my body so that the beating could be so painful. And I could scream and for help, but those guys, they didn't have any mercy on me. It was so painful, so painful. I cried a lot, and I was staying in a small room without windows. I could not see the sunlight, when I was in that small room. There was no bathroom in that small room, so they just put something like this around in the corner, so that's what I was using to ease myself. And the room was stinking so bad, and I could always cry and cry to God and say, please deliver me from this place, open the door for me to escape. It was very tough, it was very tough. It was one of the toughest moments in my life. And one day, I spent that place for 7 days, and one day, early in the morning, I heard a big noise over the place, like a thunder, and the whole place was covered with the smoke because during that time, the place was invaded by the UN peacekeepers and the soldiers of my country. They came to destroy that place. And then everybody was running away, you could just hear, gun shots, and everything was burning around. And I tried to drag myself from that place, and I was able to escape. And the UN peacekeepers, they found me laying on the street, nearby. And they were able to know who I was, and they asked me what happened, and I told them. They were like, oh, we didn't know that. And then they said, okay, can we take you back home? And they said no, because going back home, I thought that I would be putting my family in danger. And they asked me if I had somewhere to go, and I told them that I had an uncle who was living in the north of the country, and they took me there. But like I said, our country is very small, so after a few days we heard some people from the neighborhood saying that they saw people not from the neighborhood who were trying to come around my uncle's house, trying to see if I was hiding there. And then I was afraid when I heard that. I was like, where can I go now? It was really tough. And my family sat down and they decided for me to leave the country and go somewhere else, and apply for asylum and be a refugee, because that was the only solution for me to be safe. Otherwise, everywhere in my country was dangerous for me to stay. And that's how I left my country, and I went to Ethiopia, which is far way north from my country. And I want to mention this to you. Living in your own country, leaving your family, and deciding to leave your country and go somewhere else to be a refugee, it's really tough. Leaving your family, people you know, the culture, the food, everything that you were familiar with, it's a tough decision to make in your life. But during that time, that was the decision that I had to make. I was 20 at that time. Then I went to Ethiopia in the refugee camp. When I reached Ethiopia, I applied for asylum. I went to the immigration office. I told my story, what happened, and they gave me the asylum, but they had to send me to the refugee camp because as a refugee you don't live, among the people of that country. You have to go in a specific place where they have to protect you, and you live there under the refugee status. So that's how I ended up, going there. And nobody was running after me to kill me, but the life conditions were really tough because first we did not have enough food to eat because the camp was not receiving enough aid of food to help refugees who were living there. And the refugee camp had over 10,000 people in that refugee camp. It was huge. Second, we didn't have a work permit. So you can imagine just sitting, you don't have a job, you don't have anything to do, you just sleep and you wake up in the morning, you have nothing to do. It was boring. As a young person, I could not see my future, what my future was going to look like, and it was really painful. And always no food. If you could just get, 1 meal per day, that was like a miracle. I still remember kids crying in the evening because they didn't have dinner to eat before they go to sleep. So parents who had kids were just struggling. It was really tough. I remember during that time I was always praying to God, why am I here? What is going to happen at the end? Because now I don't have a job, I have nothing. I cannot plan for my life, so what is going to happen for my life? I had a friend who was coming from Congo. He was also a refugee, a young man, and we decided to pray always. And we decided to have a fellowship one day in a week, and we could just spend the whole day, whole night just praying. I remember one day we were just praying to God and saying, please open a door for us to get out of here. And we were worshiping, and there's one song, I think we're familiar with that. It's a song of his song. It's called Might Is to Save. And I like that song so much. And we were worshiping with that song, and I don't know what happened, but something just came over me, and then I fell down, and I felt, a kind of relief and joy. And during that time when I was laying down, my friend told me that he was very scared. He was afraid. He thought I passed out. I was dead. And up to now, he's teasing me, saying, "Do you remember that time when we were worshiping and then he just, passed out and I was afraid," and something like that. It was really cool, but it was a kind of encounter with, God during that time, and it was really good. And those times helped me to grow, spiritually, and it was really amazing. And then I lived that kind of life in the refugee camp for almost 6 years, 5 years and some months like that. And my friend came to me one day and he told me that he had a good news. He came to me and said, "Hey, I have good news." And I was like, "What is that?" And he said, "I saw your name on the list of the people that US is going to take." And I looked in his eyes and I said, "You like to joke, but don't joke about this," because it was so good to be true. And it was in the evening, and he told me that the list was posted on the office of UNHCR. UNHCR is an office that helps refugees around the world. And the next day, I ran to the office to check my name on the list. The office was 2 miles away from the refugee camp. I ran so fast as a runner. I think I broke the world record on that distance. It was so amazing. And then I reached, to the office. I read my name, but I read my name maybe 10 times to make sure that the spelling was right. And it was funny because I was like some of my friends back home in Spokane who don't know how to spell my name. And I didn't know how to spell my name during that time because of excitement. I was so excited. I was like, no, it might be someone else. And then it was my name, and I jumped, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to go to the US, a country that I have been seeing on TV. Now it's going to be my country. And I was so excited. And from there, I was scheduled for interviews because when you are chosen to come over here, you don't come the next day. There's a long process that you have to go through. There's interviews that you have to go through with FBI, USCIS, DSHS, the Department of Home Security, the Homeland Security, something like that. And you have to go through medical checkups. They have to make sure that you don't have diseases that are not allowed to come over here. And for me, the whole process took 1 year, 12 months. And after that, I had to fly to US. I remember when I was at the airport of Ethiopia on August 29th. I will never forget that day because it is a memorable day for me. It is like a day that I became a small baby and started a new life. I remember when I was at the airport, I put my first, foot on the plane, and I felt like, one part of me was already in the US and the other one was still in Africa. And I felt, a huge relief, a big burden that I was carrying just falling off. And I remembered thousands of refugees that was living in that place because the chance is not given to everyone. It's like winning a lottery. And then I was crying for them because they didn't have help. And also my friend that I talked to you about was staying there. And I remember the time I left, he cried so much because I was leaving there. I was leaving him there, and he didn't have hope to get a chance to come over here. But after a few months, he got a chance to come over here. Now he's in Boise, which is very cool. And we visit each other, and we just have fun and remember those times. And then when I was on the plane coming to US, I was crying tears of joy because I could not understand how God can change your life overnight, So I could see how my life was going to be awesome, and I was crying. I first landed in LA, Los Angeles, and the airport was so huge, and I was like, wow, I've never seen something like this before. And I looked around, and I could just see only people who look like you, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You understand what I mean? And then I was so happy. And the same day, I flew to Spokane, but I had to stop in Utah, Salt Lake City, for a few hours. And when I was there, something happened. I met somebody in the airport who saw me carrying, there's a small bag that you have to carry that has, travel documents. So you have to stay with that. When you leave, wherever you are coming from, they tell you, don't lose this bag. This is your life. So I was carrying that like this. I didn't want to even to put it down.
Yeah.
Because if you lose that, yeah, you lose everything. You cannot continue traveling. Yeah. And then he saw me carrying that, and then he said, "Are you a refugee?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, I came also 5 years ago here in the US. I saw your bag, and then I remembered because when I came here, I was carrying that bag too. And then he was working in a store inside the airport. He was selling fast food and drinks. And he told me, "I know you're hungry, and I know you don't have money, so come inside and take whatever you want, eat, and for free." Then I brought something to eat and something to drink. And then we talked, and he was like, I know your life's gonna change, you're gonna be an amazing person. And when he was telling me that, I looked at him, he was a young man, you know, shining, and I was like, wow, I don't know if I'm gonna achieve that, you know? And I said goodbye, and he said, okay, good luck, and then I continued, I came to Spokane. When I showed up at the airport in Spokane, there was a caseworker from World Relief who was waiting for me. When I showed up, he saw me, and then he screamed my name. Hey, come, welcome to Spokane. And I was like, wow, this person have never heard my name before, but he knows how to pronounce it. It was awesome. Yeah, and then he hugged me, and he said, I'm very excited just, you know, to meet you. You know, we have been waiting for you for months and months, and now you are here. And then we drove to my apartment, which was already prepared for me, because when you come, they know you are coming, they know who is coming, and they prepare the house, you know, beforehand. Then went there, and that night I didn't sleep because I was like, maybe I'm dreaming. Maybe one day I will wake up and find myself in the refugee camp again. You know, I would touch my eyes and see if really it's real, because it was amazing. The next day, I was taken to the office of World Relief for paperwork and stuff. When I was sitting in the lobby, the director of the office came to me, and he shook my hand and he said, welcome to Spokane, Come. We have been praying for you, and you're going to be a successful man here in Spokane. We're so excited. During that time, when I heard those amazing words, they changed who I was. Because when I was in the refugee camp, nobody came and told me that I was going to be successful. Everything that you could hear from the people around, just you are a refugee, you cannot even walk here, you are just nobody, you are just, you don't have any future, you know. Nobody could give you value and honor you. And when I heard those words, I was like, wow, this is amazing. And I took those words as a foundation of my life here in the US. I said, yes, I'm going to work very hard and be successful. And then within a month, I was hired to work at Walmart as an overnight stocker, just putting things on the shelves and unloading the truck and then put things on the shelf. So I was working at night from 10 to 7 a.m. I've never worked at night before. It was very tough. Oh. So my body was saying, I've never done that before, go sleep, something like that. But I could remember those words that the director told me, be successful, you're going to be successful. And I was like, oh, okay, I have to work hard and be successful. I don't want to let him down, you know, something like that. But at the same time, I decided to work very hard to give back to this amazing country that has given me much. So that was a way to give back to this nation. I worked at Walmart for a year, and working at Walmart was a big experience for me. We don't have Walmart stores back home, as you know. But maybe I'm going to open up one when yeah, and then it was like huge. It was like an ocean, and I was amazed to see how many the kinds of food that you guys have, and I was like, wow, I'm going to start again. I'm going to eat every day now. And I had to learn those names and know where they go on the shelves, and it was really amazing. And after that, after a year, someone working at World Relief, called me and said, okay, would we please come and have lunch together? And then I was like, yeah. And then she was a supervisor of a program that is, helping refugees to find jobs. And then I went, and I was like, maybe I'm in trouble, I don't know what's going on. And then she said, I have an offer for you. And I said, okay. And then she said, we have an opening. It's So I've been looking for someone who can be a case worker to help refugees who are coming to find jobs. And your job is going to be to do case management and do orientations when refugees are coming and help them to find jobs. You'll be contacting local employers, and it's going to be fun. And I was like, okay. I was excited, but I was like, how am I going to do that? I'm new. But she said, we sat down and we thought that you would be a good case worker, and that's why I called you. Do you know those times when people can see the potential which is inside of you and you cannot see it? You are like, oh no, not me. You are talking to the wrong guy.
Yeah.
But she said, yeah, I know I can do it. And then I accepted the offer, and it was amazing. And I did a great job, and I was like, wow. And I worked at that office for 3 years. I left last July, so this year was my last year working there. And now I'm a French teacher in a high school, Christian high school. It's called Northwest Christian. I think you have one here in Seattle, also Northwest Christian. And then I teach French, and also I'm a coach of cross country because I run so fast. So it's been amazing. So I worked there for a year, for 3 years, and it's been amazing to see my hands touching the lives of people who are coming over here, people who have gone through what I went through. I can understand their struggle, I can understand what they went through. And the amazing thing is to see how they thrive, within a few months. See someone who came with nothing, after 2 or 5 months, they're driving, the kids are going to school, they have a smile on their faces. It's really awesome. So it's been a blessing for me helping refugees that way. And so what I have seen also, those refugees who are coming, they come here with a recipe of ideas, talents, potential. And one thing that I learned, the refugee camps are the richest places in the world because there you find books that will never get a chance to be written. You find songs that will never be sung. You will find big potential trapped in those refugees because, like I said, all of us, we are created in the image of God. Nobody is an accident. We have something to offer here on earth, including those refugees who are there. And looking at those refugees, I see that the most richest place is in the refugee camp because those people, they have something to do, but they cannot do it because they don't have work permit. And it's amazing. And I think in the refugee camp there is a second, Come, a speaker, an amazing guy, who is going to come one day and talk to you guys. I believe in the refugee camp there is another, Albert Einstein, he was a refugee, but he created, something amazing that we still celebrate, he made history. And recently, actually, I was, doing some research, and I found out that Steve Jobs was the son of a former refugee from Syria. And then when he came over here, he was adopted by the Jobs, and you can see now what he has achieved. And I like, iPhone. I have my iPhone. When I saw that, I even loved Apple.
Wow.
He's an amazing guy. So, yeah, you better watch out. I don't know what I'm going to come up with sometime. So, so that's why the refugee camps are the richest places in the world. We need to help those refugees somehow. Because I believe that a human being can only be helped by another human being when that human being has a problem. That's why God wants us to live in a community. That's why when God created man, after a few days, he said, no, it's not good for a man to be alone. And he created someone who resembles him to help him, to be a helper. Why? Because we need to help one another. If I have a problem,
Amen.
I need somebody like you to come and help me. It's not a human being. The chair cannot solve my problem. All right?
All right.
So that's why we need to help those refugees. I always challenge people to help refugees. I know there are some people who are afraid of refugees who are coming, but I challenge them and tell them that those refugees are not dangerous people. The dangerous people are those people who made those people to be refugees. Alright? So we need to make sure that we really understand who those people are. And they are amazing people. When they come over here, they do a great job. They work so hard. They don't care about the job they get. Whatever comes on their hand, they just do it. And they are peaceful people. It's amazing to see how they welcome you when you go to their houses. They are so excited to see you and to be with you. So today I'm so excited to be in this nation. My life has changed. It's amazing. It's amazing what you guys have done for me. I don't have words, to explain all that. It's beyond my language and my words. This country has opened the door for me and said, please come and live with us. Be one of us. And you have stretched your hand in the trash can, which is very dirty, It's not beautiful down there. And you have reached down and you have put all my broken pieces together. And you tried all you could to make sure that my life is whole again. And you have given me my beauty back, which was somehow lost. And then now I'm beautiful again as this flower. So thank you so much for doing this. I know some of you have a question saying, how did you overcome that kind of pain and hopelessness? I would say it is God. Without God, I don't know where I'm living. God is my anchor, and my hope is in Him. And I want to encourage somebody right here. You might be going through something tough. You don't know the way out. I'm here today to tell you that God can make a way where there seems to be no way. God can do more exceedingly abundantly above all what you pray for, what you think. He's able. He can move mountains. He's sovereign. He's above all the problems that we have. So I want to encourage somebody right here, right now. I drove all the way from Spokane to tell you that God is watching over you. He has never left you. As a matter of fact, He said in His word that He will never leave you. He never forsake you. Everywhere you go, He's with you. Even through those tough moments, those struggles, He's with you because God is always faithful. He said He will never break His promise. As a matter of fact, He put His word above His name to show us that He values much His word more than Himself, so He will never break His word. So I want to just, put hope in your hearts and just know that He's with you. He will never leave you. He will never forsake you. His hand is upon you. One story in the Bible that encouraged me a lot is the story of Moses. When he was a baby, Pharaoh was during that time killing all the small babies, and Moses' mom, decided to hide him, and at some point she put Moses in a basket and went to the Nile River, By the way, the Nile River starts from our country. It's really cool. And then Moses' mother, put Moses in a basket and put that basket in the Nile River. That place was not safe. How can you put a small baby in the river where there are crocodiles, snakes? Doesn't make sense. And so it's like me, God taking me from Burundi and putting me in the refugee camp. It's like half safe. I'm safe, but not yet. Yeah, it's just like that. So Moses was there in that basket, floating on the water. The crocodiles were around, but they could not touch him and do anything harmful to him. Why? Because God's hand was upon him. Until one day, God sent somebody to rescue him from that place. Pharaoh's daughter came and found Moses and said, I'm going to take you, I'm going to raise you. It's amazing. And I'm going to tell you that God is going to send somebody who's going to like you, who's going to say you have big potential, who's going to take you out from the struggle that you are in. God is amazing. He does that kind of miracles all the time. That is what happened to me. And that is what happened to Moses. And he became an amazing person. He grew in the palace, and he was well educated. He had knowledge, and at some point God used him, to deliver his people from slavery. It was really amazing. But when you look at the journey, that was tough. And God uses those moments to strengthen us, to mold us, to refine us. Now I'm glad I went through what I went through, because they made the person that I am today. They made the man that I am today. I'm tough. Tough guy. Yeah, whatever comes in it, come on. So when we go through those moments, they strengthen us. So whatever we go through, that has a purpose. There is a purpose behind it. Our struggles are just a launching pad to our destiny. And if you try to look around, somebody who has gone through much has a big anointing. And God uses that person so much. And He's going to use you so much too.
Amen.
Thank you. I have some slides here, and because I know you have some questions, who is a refugee, how, you don't know about the process, the refugee has to go through before they come over here, stuff, things like that. So I have some slides over here, and I'm going to go through that and explain to you what it is. As you can see, World We Live, you are familiar with this organization. It is a Christian organization helping refugees who are coming over here to start a new life. So they provide resettlement services. So they help refugees to find houses. They make sure that you have a house, you have the basic needs. When you just arrive. And also they help you to find a job. So I came through this organization. It is an amazing organization. And also I worked for them for 3 years. That's where I met Jason. And so the mission of this organization is empowering the local church to serve the most vulnerable. So this organization works with churches. So the churches, they raise funds or donations, and then World We Live is just giving that to the refugees. That's how this organization works. Okay, who is a refugee? Who can give me a definition of a refugee? Yes?
Someone,
Yes, I can hear you.
thank you. Someone who has been persecuted in their country for reasons of what they believe or who they are, and has reason to fear for their life.
Awesome, clap for her. That's awesome, yeah. A refugee is somebody who is forced to leave his own country or her own country for by being persecuted because of religion, political reasons, or something like that. So a refugee is someone who is forced to leave the country. So there are people confused with a refugee and an immigrant. An immigrant is somebody who decides to leave the country. You choose to do that. All right? Okay. Yeah, you have the definition of a refugee here. You can just read it. It's almost what I just said. Okay. And this is the definition of an immigrant. It is someone who chooses to relocate to another country because of economic, educational, or family reasons. So totally different from a refugee. Okay, this is a picture of a refugee camp, which is in Bhutan, in South Asia. So you can see the life, conditions are not that good. So living in these kind of houses is not really good. Sometimes there is no electricity, there is no running water, so life is very tough. This is one of the largest refugee camps nowadays. This refugee camp is in Jordan, and it is so big. I heard that there are millions and millions of refugees in this refugee camp, and it is so dangerous at the same time. Yeah, you cannot move around by yourself. You need to go with, the police or something. There's, there are people who are abusing women, things like that. It's really crazy. It's really dangerous. Okay. If a refugee cannot go home, sometimes they are resettled in a new country to start a new life. Yes. So, if you are in a refugee camp and what is going on in your country cannot allow you to go back, so they bring you here or in some other countries like me. So the UN, they decide to relocate you and find you a country where you can go and start a new life. That is what happened to me. And this is the bag I was talking about actually. See it? Yeah, IOM. IOM is a UN agency for migration. International Organization for Migration. So they help you with the travel documents and everything. And then when you are traveling, you carry this bag. It's full of travel papers and everything. Yeah, so you see this little boy holding and saying, "This is my life." Okay. Yeah. And the U.S. is among those countries giving a chance for refugees to come over here and start a new life. Okay, I'm going to talk about the process that a refugee has to go through before they come over here. So we're going to start with stage number 1. So you need to have first a refugee status somewhere in a country in the world. Okay, you are a refugee somewhere and then you have a refugee status. Okay? And then, you see that the process can take 18 months or 3 years. That's the average. And sometimes it goes beyond. For me, I was lucky because I don't have any family, so I can single guy, so it was easy to process. So for other people, it takes a long time, 18 months or 3 years. Okay, stage 2, when the refugee come, they just choose names randomly, and then if your name is among those names, they send those names to US. So they send a referral to the US, and then they start processing. And then stage 3, you start the security clearance process. So a number of security checks are run by the law enforcement intelligence agencies. So those are the interviews I was talking about. And then step 4, in-person interview. So this was me. Yeah. Okay. And after that, you have the DSHS, the Department of Homeland Security, here had to approve that. And then 6, medical screening. They have to make sure that you are healthy, you don't have diseases, which are not allowed to come over here. Then 7, they match you with a sponsor. So for me, the sponsor was World Relief. So they have to make sure that there is an office that is going to take care of you, to be in charge of you when you arrive. So there are so many offices helping refugees when they come over here. I think even your church has an agency,
Yep.
Which is really cool. Then you go through 8, cultural orientation. So they teach you, I remember what they were teaching us. They were showing us how to ride the bus, how to go on the bus, you swipe the bus pass, and then how to tell the driver that you arrived where you want to drop off, something like that. You just pull that rope, and when you're back home in Africa, you're like, how does it look like? It's funny. 9, you have a second security clearance process. So you see, oh, sorry, I don't know what I did.
You can press the back button.
The back?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thank you. I'm not familiar with this stuff. Okay, all right, and then 10, go to the airport, and then you show up in the US, and they're like, yeah, he is. Yeah. So the U.S. refugee program here in the U.S. has a contract with 9 different agencies to provide services for all refugees who are coming. 9 agencies, different agencies. So this World Relief, I think, also Lufthansa.
Immigration and Refugee Service.
Right. I was going to say that. Okay. Okay. And then you show up at the airport. There are people who are there to receive you, and it's really amazing. So this was a family coming. There was a family coming, and then these are people who were at the airport waiting for them. So they had this sign, "Welcome to America," and they were very excited, to see those people who were coming.
Wow.
So anytime there's, somebody coming, so they talk to the people from the community. If that person is from Congo, they just talk to the Congolese, and they're like, "Oh, there's this person coming. If you have time, come to the airport." So that is what these people were doing. It's really fun.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna see how many refugees are in the world and how many refugees come to US. So now in the world we have 65.3 million of displaced people. Okay? And among those people, we have 21.3 million refugees. So you can see that it's a big number. And 51% are under 18 years old, they're kids. So how many get a chance to go to a new country? Only 1%. Only 1%. And that 1% is not even refugees who come to US, because Australia is taking refugees, Europe, and US, and Canada. So total, only 1% of the 25 million, so you can see. So that's why when I saw my name, I was overwhelmed. I was like, no, this is too good to be true. Because I was among the 1%. So you can see that the process is very tough. That's why they have to make sure that people who are coming over here, they are good people. They are not connected to any terrorist, groups. That's why the process is so intense. And they bring few people. Yeah, sometimes, people, they cry, don't bring those refugees, don't come over here. No, don't do that. But not even 1% come. Okay? And in the US, each year we get 85,000. In Spokane, the office in Spokane is allowed to receive only 600 per year because they have to fix the number based on the jobs that are available in Spokane, schools, things like that, clinics and everything. They have to make sure that the refugees who are coming, they have jobs and life is good. That's why they cannot go over 600 of refugees they are receiving. So in 2015, they received only 489. Those refugees are coming mainly from these countries, Iraq. So in 2015, between 2013 and 2015, we received 305 Iraqi people, 270 from Burma, 171 from Congo, 140 from Afghanistan, and yeah. So Iraq, Burma, Congo, Afghanistan, Sudan, Bhutan, Ukraine, Somalia, Cuba, and others. Yeah, you can see those numbers. So it is not that many. And I know this lady, she's from Sudan. So you can read this scripture, love the Lord, your God with your heart and with your soul, with all your mind. That's the first and greatest commandment. The second step is love your neighbor as yourself. All the law and of the prophet hung on these two commandments, Matthew 22, verse 37 to 40. So this is what we are called to do as Christians. We need to love our neighbor. Who is your neighbor? You, me. Those are refugees who are coming. And the amazing thing, even Jesus was a refugee one time. So it's not something new. And yeah, this is the the development director. She was very excited and to me. It's amazing that we're having fun. Okay. So how can you help? People back home, they help financially, provide welcome to key, donations. You can volunteer. That is what she did. That is what she was doing. And just made her. I happened to be her boss. I think I was a good boss. That's why you invited me. we can advocate for refugees, or we can pray for them, which is big prayers. Yeah, and the office of World Relief is on this address, Come Nzibarega. That's it. If you have questions, Robert. Yes.
Did I see a question? Yeah. Quick one, because we're kind of out of time. Yeah.
There's a lot of roving bands of young African men in Southern Europe. Is the refugee system bypassing them, or are they just choosing not to participate?
Can you repeat that question again?
Yeah.
In Southern Europe, there's a lot of roving bands of young African men
Yeah.
who are in the underground economy, basically, in those
Yeah.
big cities. Are they choosing to avoid the refugee system, or are they being bypassed by it?
Nice question. I think people sometimes they choose to do what they want to do. It's their choice, and we all have a free will, and we don't know why they're doing that. Instead of asking asylum and be helped and be assisted, but they choose to do that. But I think for young people, sometimes they want this kind of quick, success. They don't want to go through the whole process. Like I said, I went through the refugee camp for almost 5 years and something. And some people, they are like, no, I'm not going to wait that long. And also when you're there, you don't know if you're going to get this chance. Do you understand? So some young people, they want this kind of, quick success, and they choose to do that, which is a bad thing. And that's the answer you can say, because sometimes we young people, we want this kind of microwave success, and then, yeah. So that's what I can say. That's it.
Good question. One more question, and then we got to close up shop. Mike, Doug.
Yes, I think an appropriate question would be, how is your family back in Burundi?
Nice question. My family is doing okay, because I was the one who was targeted, and they didn't leave the country, and I miss them so much. I'm homesick. Facebook is doing a great job, because you can text somebody, in Burundi just instantly, and they reply to you. It's really amazing. So everybody's doing okay. Of course, there are those challenges that we go through in life. They are always there, but in general, they are doing fine. And I cannot wait to visit them sometime soon when I get my citizenship. Sometime next year, and I'll be allowed to go back home and visit them and say hi. It's going to be awesome.
What a blessing it is for you to share your story with us. And so I want to thank Jessica for making this connection. It's a perfect time of year as we get close to Christmas to hear your story. And like you said, Joseph and Mary had to flee to Egypt, didn't they? And but thank you for putting a face to who a refugee is. And it made me proud today to know that our country has given you a new start. And made me hope that we can do that for even more people. So thank you for being with us. If you have more questions, come on up. We'll close up shop now. Next week we'll have a little study, Advent Christmas study, and then we've got Sunday School Christmas program after that. So that's what's coming. Let's give Come another thank you. God bless you. Go in peace, serve the Lord. Oh, yes, one more note I forgot to mention, and this was my job and I forgot to do that. There are books in the back that you can purchase, I think $10. All of the proceeds go to help World Vision. So if you want more information, there you go. Okay, please take a look at those.
Yeah, sure.